Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We are way late today. We had some computer bandwidth issues. Our internet was not coming in very well. I couldn't get information that I needed, and I could not even get on the air at all. And now we're here, hopefully talking to you right now. I am having a feeling that we may not even be on the air because YouTube is showing video unavailable. We had some, and now I just got information. I got our monitor working here, or not working, but I got our monitor showing we're live on the air now, which is fortunate because just a minute ago it wasn't showing video unavailable. But we're live on the air here on Emergency Management Associates, live from the Area Command. Now, we stopped last night after we were talking about the Ventura fire that had ignited over in Ventura, California, just north of Los Angeles. I want to start up there talking about that tonight. We have a video that was shot earlier this morning by ABC 7 News out of Los Angeles. Stand by for that video.
We're going to start with the latest on the fire. After exploding to nearly 5,000 acres, the Canyon Fire does continue to burn this morning, but the good news is it's now 25% contained. Scott Reif is live in Air 7, joins us with the latest. Scott, they're really trying to make some progress while the weather cooperates.
Yeah, no question, Philip and Colleen, about that. They're trying to hit it hard with the aircraft. We got a C-130 is going to come in here in a moment and make a retardant drop. Now, they hit it hard yesterday afternoon, and I think that's one of the reasons it's so encouraging right now. But that's the entirety of the fire right there.
Okay. I'm hoping we're on the air live here because now the video stopped putting out.
You can tell for the most part, it looks very, very good. Just one little hot spot. We did see at least 4 structures lost, though. I want to go to a sky map, and it was off Ayala Road. Appeared at least 2 of those were homes. So that, unfortunately, is sad. We haven't got any updates from County Fire, or Ventura, LA County or Ventura County on the structures lost, but it appeared at least 2 homes. We think maybe even 4. So that's certainly unfortunate. I just want to give you a little perspective where this is and pull out of this shot. That's nearly 5,000 acres. The tanker's coming around, going to make a retardant drop. If you don't know where Lake Piru is, it's to the west of Castaic, to the west of the 5 and not affecting the 5, and north of the 126, burning in this area. But boy, the smoke is bad. A lot of unhealthy air, especially setting over Santa Clarita and down towards Ventura. They're really getting hit with a lot of unhealthy air. There's no question on that. And for more, we're going to go to Monica Dianda on the ground in the fire. I think you're in Halsey Canyon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Scott, that's right. Right now we are just off Halsey Canyon Road, and you can see here behind me some of the destruction left behind. There's still even some smoldering. Mr. Mayor, the owner of this property, tells me he lost 3 outbuildings here and a material that was worth around $5,000. That's a loss, but he says this morning he's feeling grateful that his home is still standing.
There was a building there. There was a building over there. You know, you can see over that other building that's right there by the new house.
Less than 24 hours after the canyon fire erupted, people who live off Halsey Canyon Road are assessing the damage.
And it just burned and burned and burned. And
Rod Mayer lost 3 outbuildings in the fire, something that came as a shock given that the wind wasn't much of a factor yesterday.
at least there's no wind, you know, and then, you know, when the fire started getting closer and closer, it creates its own wind because it was blowing from one way, then it blew from another way. So it creates its own little vortexes and stuff, I guess.
Just down the road in the Halsey Estates area, some people choosing to stay behind and watch the firefight.
It's been a long night, and just watching the fire, watching it coming up right up there on that hill.
The bulldozers were up on the hill for 6 or 7 hours just pushing brush around. If it wasn't for these CAL FIRE men, we would have lost everything.
And as the fire made a run down the canyon last night, one neighbor says she spotted a looter.
I just happened to be looking out the window, looking at the fire, and here's somebody that had flashlights and they were walking around here. They were looking in the front of my house. I'm like, oh.
No power.
But this morning, a sigh of relief for those living in this community.
I think I'm a little relieved that it hasn't burned all the way down to the house, so I think we're fortunate there.
And they're thankful for all the fire crews that did everything possible to protect their homes.
They came in and took care of business, I think.
Without these brave people, we would have been out of luck.
And literally moments ago, we just saw a C-130 fly up overhead, getting ready to make a fire retardant drop. So this firefight still very much far from over. At last check, the update we got this morning, this fire 25% contained. The cause of the fire still under investigation. Of course, people here now this morning tell us they're focused on cleaning up, and that's what they plan to do today, and all while dealing with the heat. Some of them are out of power, so they say it's going to be a tough day ahead, but of course they're thankful that their homes are still standing, at least in this area.
No.
Okay, that's the latest. That was as of this morning, 25% fire containment in the Ventura fire. And I am sure everybody's thankful for that.
LAPD officers stop a man on a bicycle.
You need brakes, bro. Just hop out really quick. We'll get you out of here.
Look, I'm going right there.
Step
You guys can come with me?
Step off the bike, please.
Yes, sir.
And then face away. Put your hands behind your back.
I'm sorry for that. That's a crime report out of Los Angeles. I didn't mean to air. This broadcast today has nothing to do with crime necessarily. But I want to show you what was going on with the Ventura fire. That is actual information that we had after last night. Last night, the fire was burning out of control, and it actually seemed like it was a bigger fire than it is today. Again, it's only 25% contained, but it is in a very smaller area. With all the smoke that we had last night and yesterday afternoon, it looked like a much bigger fire, but it's not. It's a smaller fire than everybody thought. It's at least 25% contained, maybe as much as 30 or 35% contained, maybe a lot bigger than that, but at least they have been making headway. The reason they've been making headway, as you heard, was because there are no winds. If the winds stir up now, there could be a possibility that the fire takes off again. Now, what happens? During the daytime, we have devil winds coming off the canyons out of the deserts. Those devil winds, okay? I'm going to say they're devil winds. They are what they call Santa Ana winds. They come in off the desert, blowing upwards of 60, 65 miles an hour, just almost like a hurricane, and blowing in towards the coast. At night, things calm down. The winds off the desert they don't completely stop, but they pretty much come to a very slow trickle, and then they start up in the morning. But during the nighttime, there is a influence from the ocean breezes from the ocean. That means the fire sometimes contains itself, because then it starts burning in on itself. Okay? Starts burning in on itself where it's already burned. That helps the firefighters. Plus, the winds coming or breezes coming in off the ocean contain a lot of humidity. That also helps. Right now, apparently there are very few winds or breezes blowing in right now, and that's because as a result of that, we have the fire at least 25 to 30% contained. We will keep up on the story as the night comes in here and as we go into tomorrow. And yes, I probably will be back on the air tomorrow to talk about this blaze in Ventura County. Now, I want to talk about earthquakes worldwide for just a few minutes. Nothing has really changed worldwide. We don't have any major earthquakes happening, and in fact, we're very lucky today. Now, luck has it right now. During the past couple of days, we've had some solar eruptions. Those solar eruptions cause plasma radiation from the sun to come and hit the earth. We've talked about this before. The solar plasma radiation comes out through space, traveling at extraordinary speeds, and hits the earth like this. It hits the earth side facing the sun like this, and then it literally envelopes the earth like this. Okay? That plasma radiation has a huge effect on the earth, the entire earth, not just part of it, not just earth side facing. Okay? That plasma radiation is about to hit the earth again. 2 days ago, there was a huge eruption. Right now, we are expecting a solar storm. a geomagnetic solar storm hit the Earth's magnetosphere. We are going to see aurora borealis in extraordinary fashion during the next 24 to 48 hours. Okay. Plus, right now we are in what they call a Leonid, meteor shower. The Leonid meteor shower is ongoing. Right now, you might see upwards of 24 meters an hour. Okay. But with the solar wind pounding our magnetosphere, we're going to see a lot of auroras, especially up in the northern tier of states. I'm talking Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, Canada, upwards over in Scandinavia as well, and northern parts of Russia. You may see aurora borealis dipping down to probably Nova Scotia, Canada, in that area, possibly even in the Manitoba or Saskatchewan, Canada. We may see that, okay? But right now, we're very lucky with what we've got. Things could be a lot worse. Now, with the solar radiation, the plasma radiation going to plummet the Earth within the next 24 hours, we'll probably see an increase in earthquakes as well. Okay, that's going to happen. It always does. Hurricane Heather's calling them Diablo winds, exactly. Professionally, they're called Santa Ana winds. I've seen it. I lived through it in North Dakota, or not North Dakota, I'm sorry, in California when I lived there for 27 years. I've endured those. I've helped fight fires there. I've helped evacuate families, dear friends of mine. We had a Santa Ana condition back, I believe it was in 1996, I believe it was, where the Santa Ana winds were blowing and a fire came up in San Diego County, in North San Diego County, and was burning westward towards Encinitas. I had some dear friends living in Encinitas, California, and we helped evacuate them. No, they didn't lose their house. Their housing development was fine, but other people in Encinitas and even southern Carlsbad lost their homes. That happens. That definitely happens. I've seen it happen. We've seen it happen in Los Angeles. We've seen it happen upwards over in Northern California, around San Francisco. We've seen it happen in LA. We've seen it happen in San Diego as well. We're going to have fires. We will continue reporting on the fires as they happen. But I want to make sure everybody is aware what is going on. That's why we broadcast this information. Richard Smith says he's never seen the Northern Lights in Nova Scotia. You might see them this time. You might see them this time. I'm not guaranteeing it, but you might see it. Okay? That's what's forecast. Now, I want to talk about some other things tonight. I'm going to show you the USGS map to start with. I'm going to take down a webcam. I'm going to take down our EMA banner here. I want to show you earthquakes. And this is new. This is new. Okay? First off, let's go over here. I'm sorry. I want to go over here to Eastern Tennessee. Notice where this earthquake is, okay? This is over on the western side of the Blue Ridge Mountains, the western side of the Blue Ridge Appalachian Mountains here. This is in Tennessee. This is a minor 2.2 earthquake. This is in Tellico Plains, Tennessee. This is on the western side of the Blue Ridge Mountains here, okay? This is the Continental Divide. Let me back this out. You can clearly see the Continental Divide here on the eastern side of the United States. This is where the earthquake is. How does that earthquake happen? Because, guys, I've talked about this before. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. It is pushing Africa and Europe in an easterly direction. On the other hand, the Mid-Atlantic Fault is also pushing Greenland, Canada, and the United States in a southwesterly direction. You see also an earthquake up here in Canada right here. Actually, this was in Maine. This is just south of Canada here in Maine. This is Penobscot, Maine, with the 1.4 tremor here. But these are not the only earthquakes that have happened. These are the only earthquakes that USGS wants to tell us about. I'm to the point, I've gotten to the point over the years that I have no respect for the United States Geological Survey because they refuse to report earthquakes that are substantial. They choose to report a 1.4 tremor in Penobscot, Maine, but they're not willing to talk about 2.2, 2.5 earthquakes in Pennsylvania. They're not willing to talk about 2.5 to 3.0 earthquakes in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and even Georgia. They're not doing it because they believe they're above the law. They believe they're above the law. Okay? I can't stand it. I despise it. They don't want to talk about earthquakes because they decide they don't want to. The politicians tell them not to, and that's exactly what they adhere to. Over here on the Pneumatic Fault here, we talked about this yesterday. Tiptonville, Tennessee. Actually, we talked about this Wednesday. Tiptonville, Tennessee. This is the second time this week that they've shown an earthquake here. The other day, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday, they reported a 2.7 earthquake here in Tiptonville, Tennessee. Now they're reporting 2.3. That's all fine and good. But there are other earthquakes, there are tremors there as well that they're not reporting. The entire Pneumatic Fault is literally on fire. It's moving. Everything. From Arkansas, Louisiana to the south, Tennessee, going upwards, even south of Tennessee and Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, going up towards Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. The entire fault is moving, and they don't want to talk about it. Over here in Arkansas, this is a 1.8 magnitude tremor here in Strawberry, Arkansas. But they're not the only ones. Again, the United States Geological Survey decides what they're going to report and what they're not going to report. They don't want to have a huge bunch of people in uprage, but that's exactly what they're going to get. When a major earthquake hits here, people are going to ask, why were we not notified? Why were we not given a heads up? I'm the only agency, I'm the only person, I'm the only company putting this information out. Nobody else is. Nobody else is showing the seismograms. Nobody else is giving you the warning. The Pneumatic Fault is moving. The Pneumatic Fault is moving. For those people, and I'm not going to tell you when to move or when not to. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to give you the information and let you make those decisions yourselves. I'm not going to be responsible for telling you to move and then nothing happens. I'm not going to give you the information to make a move and then a major earthquake happens and you don't have time enough to finish your move. I'm giving you the information that you need to have to make decisions for you and your family, and the best benefit of you and your family. That's what we've always been doing. Okay? Going over here in Oklahoma, you see plenty of earthquakes here in Oklahoma. There's probably more earthquakes in this than they're showing. Again, they don't want to prove anything. They don't want to disprove anything either. Going over here in southwestern Texas, it appears the earthquakes here in southwestern Texas are expanding. They're expanding. We used to see only earthquakes over here in the deep southwestern part of Texas. Now we have earthquakes like this, swarms of earthquakes all over central Texas. For example, this, Ackerley, Texas, 1.8 tremor. Let's enlarge this and show you exactly what's happening here. Multiple earthquakes here. This is a small swarm, what they call a cache of earthquakes here. Okay, right here, a 0.5 microquake. Just to the north of that, this is a 0.7. This is a 1.6 tremor. This is a 1.2 tremor. This is a 0.7 microquake. But there's more quakes than that. Let's bring this back down. Let's go over here. Back down here to a little bit to the south, Stanton, Texas. This is just 9 miles south-southeast of Stanton, Texas. The problem with that is, just about 6 or 7 months ago, we had a 5.1 large earthquake in Stanton, Texas. This is an aftershock. This is an aftershock of that earthquake. This is a 1.1 tremor here. This is a 1.0 tremor. And this is a 1.2 near Oklahoma, Texas. Why are they having these earthquakes? Why do you think they're having these earthquakes, everybody? Oil and gas fracking operations. Look at the dots all over this map. Each square or small rectangle that you see is an oil and gas platform. If the earthquake is within 6 to 10 miles away from one of these platforms, it is an oil and gas earthquake. In Oklahoma, there are over 586,000 pumps and jacks in Oklahoma. Imagine this. Texas is like 5 or 6 times the size of Oklahoma. So you can imagine the number of oil and gas platforms that we have here. That's why we have these earthquakes. Oil and gas fracking operations in Texas. Down here to the south, we're still seeing earthquakes here. This is Three Rivers, Texas. This is a 1.8 tremor here. The same thing applies here in Three Rivers as applies everywhere else. This is an oil and gas fracking quake. Look at all the oil and gas pumps here. Pumps and jacks everywhere. Literally just right next to the earthquake. Right there. Right there. Okay, that's why we're getting earthquakes here. I want to make sure we explain ourselves, why we make these decisions, why we show you what's going on, because you deserve to know. There are going to be more earthquakes in Texas. I believe USGS is not even showing all the earthquakes here. They never do. We have earthquakes here on the West Coast. We've talked about this before. These are ongoing. These are ongoing. As I explained the day before yesterday, when we talked about California. California's going to go. We're going to have at least a 6.9 to 7.5 earthquake here in California. It may even be higher than that. Down here at the border, okay? Down here at the border, this is the Imperial Valley. This is down here at the border of the Imperial Valley in Mexico. They say this is Progreso, Mexico, just south of the U.S. border. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. 2.1 earthquake. Up here on the western side of the Salton Sea, southwestern side of the Salton Sea, we have a 0.7 microquake. Calipatria. We've talked about Calipatria quite a lot. Usually here in Calipatria, we see anywhere from 75 to 150 earthquakes a day. The Imperial Valley here has over 400 earthquakes a day hitting it. Every day. Over here in San Diego County, look at all the earthquakes hitting here. They're continuing. This one is near Julian, right near Julian, California. Right now, we're getting towards apple seasons here in Julian. Julian ought to pay me to talk about this. We see apple season happening here. Ripening apples. Right now, they're probably a little bit on the green side, turning red. But they have thousands upon thousands of apple trees here in Julian. If you go over to Julian right now, you can go to a restaurant, order breakfast, lunch, or dinner at one of the restaurants. You can stay in a bed and breakfast, whatever you want to do. You can go see the curio shops, and here at the restaurants, you can have hot apple pie and even apple cider with your meal. Locally grown apples here in Julian. Great place to visit, guys. Julian is a great place to visit, but they are getting hit with earthquakes. Just about 6 or 7 months ago, we had a 5.1 earthquake here in Julian. It's going to continue. It's on the San Jacinto Fault. Further north, you see a red earthquake here. Red earthquakes signify that the earthquake just happened. This is like Henshaw. This is Lake Henshaw. This is just northeast of Escondido, California. Northeast of Escondido, California. Look where it's at. Right on the southern shore of Lake Henshaw. I used to fish at this lake. I've got a lot of brown trout out of this lake and even some rainbows here. This is a 0.7 microquake here. This is a 0.9 1.0 tremor here at Lake Henshaw. Okay, earthquakes in North San Diego County. This earthquake here is just northwest of Lake Henshaw. USGS says this is west-southwest of Lake Henshaw. You can obviously see the USGS has no clue what they're talking about. Many times they get I would say 90% of the time, they get their locations wrong. In this case, this is west-northwest of Lake Henshaw, not west-southwest. West-northwest of Lake Henshaw, we have a 0.4 microquake here. This is also 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. Let's go back to this red earthquake. What is this? This is 6.7 miles deep. Interesting. This is the 0.9 I told you about. This is 6.6 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Okay. See earthquakes here in North San Diego County. They're happening. There's probably more earthquakes than this right now. Another red earthquake up here towards Los Angeles. This is March Air Force Base. This is March Air Force Base, guys. They launch B-52 bombers. They launch F-14, F-15, F-16, F-A-18 fighters out of March Air Force Base. Okay, I've been there. This is a 1.4 tremor here at March Air Force Base. We go further northwest here, Corona, California. This is a 1.2 tremor here. Further west here, also 6 miles northwest of Corona here, is a 0.6 microquake here. But again, these are not all the earthquakes that they have to show us. They're not even showing us half. They're not even showing us 1/10 of the earthquakes that are hitting here in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles alone, there are over 400 to 500 earthquakes here every day, all throughout the Los Angeles basin. They're not showing us any here, literally. Up here to the north here, this is Bradbury, California, just north of Hollywood. This is a 1.4 tremor here. Okay, unreal. Let's go further north, real quick like. Okay, we have some earthquakes over here north of San Francisco. North of San Francisco. This is the geysers complex. This is the geysers complex. This is a geothermal plant here built to pump steam from the upper magma chambers of this volcano here. This they call Clear Lake. This is the Clear Lake volcano. They pump steam out of the upper magma chambers of this volcano to power turbines here in the geysers facility here to generate electricity for 4 big energy conglomerates here. Every day, they usually have anywhere from 15 to 45 earthquakes here every day. I should say 20 to 45 earthquakes every day. That's common. That's common. You see one earthquake here that's red. Let me show you this. There's one earthquake that's red. That earthquake just happened. This is a 1.1 tremor near Cloverdale, California. Cloverdale, California here. Okay? Let me reduce the size of this. Let's go up north. Okay? Now we're in Oregon. Look at this. They're hardly showing anything, but there are earthquakes here. They don't show much of anything. Yesterday we showed you a tremor map put out by the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. We had a bunch of tremors here near Salem, Oregon, didn't we? Probably close to 50 to 100 tremors here near Salem, Oregon. Now they're only showing one tremor here. What a bunch of liars. Off the coast here, This is over on the edge of the Blanco fracture zone and the Gorda Ridge here. The Blanco fracture zone here is the perpendicular line here running from the southeast to the northwest here in the Pacific Ocean, called the Blanco fracture zone. It's all part of the Cascadia megathrust earthquake zone, part of the Cascadia megathrust earthquake region. Okay, this is a region where we are expecting to have a 9.0 to 10.0 earthquake here, probably within the next 5 years. Probably within the next 5 years. Today, this is a 1.1 tremor here on the Blanco fracture zone, just off the coast of Cloverdale, California. 7 miles south-southeast of Cloverdale, California. You see another earthquake over here. This is Fort Hill, Oregon, 1.3 tremor. Notice this up here in Washington. They're not showing any earthquakes at all. None. We know there are. Hundreds and hundreds of earthquakes here every day. Mount Rainier here. We know for a fact there's probably several hundred earthquakes just right here at Mount Rainier. They're not showing anything. They're not showing anything over here at Mount St. Helens. They're not showing anything here at Mount Adams. Right underneath Mount Adams is one of the biggest magma chambers ever. Mount Adams is going to be a real question mark here. We know for a fact that Mount St. Helens is moving and is slated for an eruption. We just don't know when. Mount Rainier up here also is slated for an eruption. All signs point to it. Why are they not telling anybody what's going on? This is the kind of agency we now have to rely on. I've shown you evidence of this happening every day. I've shown you evidence of earthquakes happening all over this region every day, but they're denying anything happens. Look at Alaska. Look at Alaska. Down here off the coast of Sandpoint, Alaska. This is a 3.7 magnitude earthquake. This is a 3.6. These are aftershocks. These are aftershocks of the major earthquake that just hit here 3 weeks ago. These are aftershocks of a major earthquake that hit here 3 weeks ago. There are other earthquakes that you see here in Alaska. For example, this earthquake here. This is over near Ninilchik, Alaska. This is a moderate 4.0 earthquake here. It was felt. 4.0, 4.9 earthquakes can cause moderate damage. Moderate damage. That's why they used to say that this was a moderate quake. Now USGS is saying it's a light quake. Folks, there is nothing even close to a light quake. Small quakes might be called light. Small quakes are 3.0, 3.9. This is a 4.0. Why do they call it light? 4.0, 4.9 earthquakes cause moderate damage. They should leave the designation of earthquakes up to people that care, because it's proven that USGS doesn't give a darn at all. 4.0 moderate earthquake over here near Ninilchik, Alaska. But we have other earthquakes here. We have other earthquakes here. Let's go north. Yes, you see earthquakes over here in Denali National Park. This earthquake here is on the southern flank of one of the tallest mountains in North America. Actually, the tallest mountain in North America. This is a 1.8 tremor here. 1.8 tremor here. Okay, let's go further north. There is an earthquake offshore of northern Alaska here. This is a 3.4 earthquake here. This is a small 3.4 earthquake here, 70 miles north of Wainwright, Alaska. 70 miles north of Wainwright, Alaska, up North Shore, Alaska here. There is one other earthquake between Alaska and Russia here. This is a 3.6. This is southwest, 83 miles southwest of Point Hope, Alaska. Point Hope, Alaska. Okay, now let's go down here. We talked about that major earthquake last week over here, just southeast of Kamchatka, Alaska. Southeast of Kamchatka Peninsula, Alaska. Look at this. We are still seeing large and moderate earthquakes here, just offshore from Kamchatka Peninsula. For example, this. This is the large 5.0 just off the coast of Kamchatka Peninsula here, going north. This is another 5.0 earthquake. Large and moderate earthquakes are still going to hit here. These are all aftershocks. Aftershocks of several major earthquakes have hit here during the last week and a half. During the last week and a half, we've seen 7.4s, we've seen 7.8s, and we've seen an 8.8 that was really a 9.4 earthquake. These are all aftershocks. They're going to continue for years. Aftershocks here are going to continue for years, guys. Literally. Literally. Yes, we have earthquakes down here in Japan area. Again, they're not showing all the earthquakes here. Northeast of Tokyo here. A 4.7 earthquake offshore northeast of Tokyo. This is a 4.7 here, 52 miles east-northeast of Takahagi, Japan. Takahagi, Japan. More earthquakes here in Japan as well. We go south into the Izu Islands here. Southeast in the Izu Islands here, we have a 4.1 earthquake here. This earthquake is 260 miles deep. This is a moderately deep earthquake. This earthquake just southeast of there is a 4.3. This earthquake is in what they call the Bonin Islands, Bonin Islands here, just southeast of Japan here. Okay? There are more earthquakes here. USGS isn't wanting to even designate all the earthquakes here. There are 42 earthquakes here in Indonesia. 42 earthquakes in Indonesia. What are they showing us? 3. 3 here in Indonesia. This is a 5.3 here near Tobelo, Indonesia. Tobelo, Indonesia. This is a very shallow quake, 68 miles deep. Further south here, this is east of Java here. East of Java. This is a 4.7 earthquake, 61 miles deep. This earthquake here, Tual, Indonesia. A 4.7 moderate earthquake here. We go out near Kokopo, Papua New Guinea. Yesterday we had a 5.9 earthquake here. Today we're seeing a 4.6 aftershock. Yesterday we had a 5.9 earthquake here, and now we are seeing a 4.6 moderate aftershock. Kokopo, Indonesia is still having earthquakes. They're going to continue having earthquakes because that 5.9 was a very strong quake and may have also been as strong as a 6.5. I saw seismic stations yesterday reporting 6.5 and even 6.7 earthquakes here. That means, again, the USGS was lying to us. Let's go over here now to Vanuatu. This is a moderate 4.6 earthquake here in Vanuatu. This is offshore. Offshore. From Port Olri, Vanuatu. Offshore from Port Olri, Vanuatu. This was a 4.6 moderate earthquake here in the Pacific Ocean. The ocean waters have absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. Let's go further to the southeast here. This is in the Loyalty Islands here. This is again another 4.6 earthquake, 76 kilometers, not 76 kilometers, 76 miles deep here. There are other earthquakes here as well in Tonga, Samoa, and down here into New Zealand. Again, the United States Geological Survey, in their infinite wisdom, don't want to tell us about it. 28 earthquakes here in New Zealand. 28 earthquakes here in New Zealand that they don't want to take responsibility for. Go figure. That's typical of what we see out of the stupid USPS. Over here in Uzbekistan, Russia. This is a 4.4 earthquake here. This is 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Over here in Africa, this is a 4.8 earthquake here in Africa. Also 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. This is Munga, Tanzania. Munga, Tanzania. 4.8 moderate earthquake here. Yes, I believe we have other earthquakes, but nobody's reporting them. They're not showing any other earthquakes either in the Middle East. They're not showing any other earthquakes here in Europe. We know there are. There are probably close to 1,000 earthquakes here between Europe and the Middle East. They're not talking about it. They're not showing it at all. This is the kind of information central station that we have with the USPS. Down here in northern Chile here. This is actually at the border between northern Chile and northwestern Argentina. This near San Antonio de los Cobres, Argentina, here in the mountains here between Chile and Argentina. This happens every day. There's some 28 earthquakes here in South America. 28 earthquakes here in South America in the Andes Mountains that they don't want us to talk about. 28 earthquakes. Why not? Why are they not talking about it? Let's go north here. Colombia. Colombia, guys. This is just offshore from Salunda, Colombia. This is also a 4.8 earthquake. 4.8 earthquake. Let's go north into Central America. Between Panama and Guatemala, we have 12 earthquakes here that they don't want to tell us about. All of these earthquakes are small 3.0, 3.9 earthquakes. Going up here into southern Mexico, 42 earthquakes. 42 earthquakes between here and southern Mexico, all the way up in Puerto Vallarta. That's a lot of earthquakes. Again, they're not showing them to us. Too bad for them. Yes, we're going to have major plate separation down here at some point in time, just like we had over in the Kamchatka Peninsula area. Huge rupture of the plates up there between the Pacific and the European Asian plate. Plate rupture there, full plate rupture. We're going to see that down here in the Cocos Plate here. It's going to happen. Going to happen. Yes, we're going to have several major earthquakes, one in Southern California, another one over here off the coast of Seattle, Tacoma area, another major earthquake that's going to happen over here off the coast of Haida Gwaii, British Columbia here. It's going to happen. It's literally when. This is imminent. This is imminent, guys. I've taken you on a tour of the world now. I've told you what's happening now and what's going to happen. Right now, I want to bring us back to present time here in North Carolina. I want to show you what's going on. Okay? This is pertinent to each of our safety here. this is pertinent to each of our safety here. I have come up with a presentation for all of you. What's going to happen? I want to make sure everybody realizes what has already happened. Okay? We've talked about earthquakes in North Carolina before, haven't we? Talked a lot about earthquakes in North Carolina. Now I'm going to show you what happened 5 years ago here in North Carolina. 5 years ago, just about an hour and 30 minutes northwest of here, northwest of Morganton, North Carolina. I want to take you now up to Sparta, North Carolina. Sparta, North Carolina. August 8th, 2020. We had a 5.1 major earthquake here. A 5.1 major earthquake here. A big deal. Huge deal, guys. Huge deal. Let me show you something else. It knocked buildings, it knocked homes off their foundation. You can see the foundation built with concrete block. The foundation cracked here, didn't it? Foundations, the homes and buildings were literally knocked off their foundation. Some homes were leaning off the foundation just like this. Fell off their foundations. No joke. Very large 5.1 earthquake. August 8th, 5 years ago. Let me show you another picture. Just a second, I'm going to have to drop this one back down here. Look at this. This is a kitchen at the Elks Lodge in Sparta, North Carolina. All the dishes, all the plates, all the glasses fell out of cupboards here. All the dishes, all the plates, all the glasses that they had set here for dinners for the Elks Lodge fell out of the cupboards, broke into millions of pieces. That's not all, folks, there's more. Look at this. Cupboards emptied out. Damage all over floors. Damage all over the floors. Not just that. I'm sorry, that's not it. Look at this. Pots and pans, glass plates, broken everywhere. Thousands of dollars of damage here in Sparta, North Carolina. When I visited here 1 year after the earthquake, I met with city council people. I met with residents here. The day I was there, they were having a car show. I talked to a lot of people here. Many of them reported major damage. Major damage. But again, very few of them had even insurance on their homes or their apartments. They claimed total loss. Total loss. Many people did not claim it on their insurance because their insurance didn't cover it. This is what kinds of things we can see. Large earthquakes contain large damage, regardless of whether USGS wants to talk about it. That's what happens. Look at this meeting room. Ceiling tile fell. Electrical wires fell out of the ceiling here. The whole room was disrupted, made uninhabitable. This is what kind of stuff happens with large earthquakes. I've been reporting this year after year. I want to show it to you again. We have people here that haven't seen our reports before. I wanted to make sure we show you this information. This is important. Large earthquakes make large damage. Large earthquakes contain large damage. Things knocked off of the ground, things knocked off of foundations, homes damaged. But there were only 3 homes Only 3 homes and the elk lodge that had to be replaced. 3 homes and the elk lodge had to be replaced. All the rest of the homes here were able to be salvaged. There was no deaths. There were no injuries from this 5.1 earthquake. But again, a 5.1 earthquake hit here August 8th, 2020. Incredible. Richard Smith says the Earth is going to put on a major rock and roll show coming soon to a fault near you. Very true. Very true. Now, USGS is saying that these 5.1 earthquakes are now called moderate. Moderate. I've shown you moderate damage before during moderate earthquakes. I've now shown you large earthquake damage as well. These 5.0 to 5.9 earthquakes are not moderate like USGS wants us to believe. These are large, damaging earthquakes. They do a large amount of damage. Let not USGS tempt you. Don't even believe anything that they say. I keep showing you this week after week, day after day. Unreal. Does anybody have any questions about the earthquake in Sparta or any of the other earthquake information we've shown you today? Linda's here. Brick homes won't make it in earthquakes. Probably not. Not unless they are supported by steel inside the brick. Unsupported masonry buildings are going to fall. Unsupported masonry buildings, whether it be brick or block, are going to come apart. Back in 1959, there was a 7.1 major earthquake up in Montana. 7.1 earthquake. Major damage. It killed 151 people. Okay? Killed 151 people. Anyway, Renee Steffi's talking about a severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued out of Dodge City, Kansas for Trego, Kansas, 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail. That's going to be a very severe thunderstorm. Those of you that are in the thunderstorm warning area, you need to take shelter now. You probably are already getting heavy rains. You're probably already experiencing very gusty winds, probably gusts up to 60 miles per hour here, and the storm is just moving through the area. It's going to be huge. Take cover now, either in a storm shelter or in the center of your home. Stay away from the outside walls of your home. Stay away from the outside walls of your home. Go to the inner walls, either in a hallway or an interior bedroom, and stay there. If you have the opportunity, pull a mattress over your heads and stay under the mattress in case the thunderstorm comes through and rips the roof up your home and throws things around. That way you're at least going to be protected. That happens. Thunderstorms also spin off tornadoes. Be very careful with that as well. Okay? Thunderstorms and tornadoes blow out the glass windows of your home. They can blow out the walls. They can blow out the doors of your house. Stay away from the exterior walls of your home. Okay? Linda Goytil is saying in Santa Cruz, California, the chimneys fell while the house stood still. Yeah, the unsupported masonry fell. Unsupported masonry fell. Hurricane Heather is our weather expert here on this channel. Hurricane Heather says Northern California is under what they call a red flag warning until Tuesday. Extreme heat warning until Tuesday next week. Red flag warning means those devil winds, the Diablo winds, the Santa Ana winds are blowing in off the desert, and they're coming in at approximately 40 to 65 miles per hour. Hurricane and tropical storm size winds. hot off the desert. Those can cause fires. Red flag warning means there's a potential for fires. Humidity goes out the window. Low humidity, high winds, and a spark from anywhere can cause a major fire. Please be very careful where you're at. Be very careful you do not take a car off-road into the brush because you will cause a fire. Do not flick cigarettes or cigarette ash out your window. Don't do it. There are police and undercover vehicles out on the roads all over these areas that will be patrolling. If they catch you flicking spark material, if they catch you off-roading with a hot underside of your car, you will be arrested. You will be arrested. Red flag patrols are common during these storm type periods. Be safe out there. Be very safe. Any questions, guys? Linda Goytel is saying, yikes, I'm in Northern California. More smoke, yes. More smoke, guys. Okay? We talked about the fire in Ventura County, Los Angeles, and to some extent, northern San Diego County is getting a lot of smoke out of Los Angeles right now. Unreal. Unreal. Anyway, yes, I came on late tonight. Late this afternoon anyway. Now it's 6:30 in the afternoon. I usually come on the air sometime after 4 o'clock. Today it was after 5:30. I'm sorry. I have some information more for you right now. Okay? I want to talk about what is going on in California. We talked about Gavin Newsom. I'm not going to call him by his real name because he is nothing but scum. Nothing but scum. Governor Gavin Newsom has declared California to be a sanctuary state, allowing illegal aliens almost free roam throughout the state, allowing illegal aliens to roam and cause damage, cause problems, loot and kill, yes, loot and kill citizens here. Many of those people have been let out of prisons in Central and South America and even Mexico. They've come into California causing all kinds of problems. It's proven fact. We've seen it happen. Now, there are sanctuary cities and counties all over California because of Governor Newsom. There are cities in Los Angeles and San Diego that refuse to be part of the sanctuary system. Those cities, for example, Newport Beach and Huntington Beach, those cities are not sanctuary cities. Yes, they're in California. Yes, they are within Los Angeles area. But those cities are not cooperating with California. They're not cooperating with anybody but federal law enforcement, allowing federal law enforcement to come to their jails, to come to their cities and arrest people. People that should not be there. People that were allowed into this country illegally during the last 4 years. They're being arrested left and right. 2 days ago, federal agents from the FBI and Customs Border Protection came over to a Home Depot parking lot in a Penske truck, a Penske unmarked truck. Border agents and the FBI were in the back of the truck. Someone lifted the lid of the truck on the back. Border agents came out, and the illegal aliens ran for their lives. 90% of those illegal aliens that ran were arrested. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. In those sanctuary cities, they're not letting federal agents even into the jails. It would be better that they did, because then the agents could take the people out of the jail cells and take them into custody there. But right now, the sanctuary cities, the sanctuary states are making the agents' lives more dangerous. The agents have to run after these illegal people. Some of these illegals are also smuggling children. abusing children as well. They're being arrested, but under duress of the agents. Agents literally have to take their lives in their own hands. The San Diego County Board of Supervisors this week have voted to make San Diego County a sanctuary county, even though there are cities within the city or county of San Diego that are not sanctuary cities, allowing the federal government to go into their jails and into the cities and apprehend illegal aliens. The San Diego County Board of Supervisors said that San Diego County is a sanctuary county, allowing these illegals to have free roam of the county, just as Gavin Newsom said it. But folks, tonight I want to talk about constitutional cities, constitutional counties, constitutional countries. I want to talk about constitutional adherence to the laws of our country. I want to talk about police, sheriff's deputies, and sheriffs living to their oath, living up to their oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That was the oath I took. That is still the oath I have. Yes, I'm retired now, but that oath was not taken away from me. That oath still holds strong for every soldier, no matter what military service you were in. That oath also still applies to every police officer or sheriff's deputy that was sworn to uphold that oath, so help me God. I want to talk about the constitutional adherence to that law of our land. What does it mean for law enforcement officers to be constitutional? Again, all law enforcement officers, sheriff's deputies as well, took an oath to uphold, to protect, and to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The sheriff themselves of every county here in this country has the ultimate duty to provide law enforcement protection for entire counties, all citizens within those counties. Even where we have sworn jurisdiction of police officers in those counties, the sheriff still has overseen capabilities in those jurisdictions. Now that we have defined the law enforcement duties of the sheriff's deputies, and police officers who are sworn to uphold the law and to protect citizens in their jurisdictions, let's talk about constitutional protection of citizens. Sheriffs and any law enforcement officer are sworn to uphold, protect, defend, and to serve. Law enforcement plays an essential role in ensuring that our cities, counties, and states remain free and safe, to make sure our elections remain safe and free as well, and fair. Officers around the country help protect voters, help protect election officials, and others involved in voting processes. They help maintain order. They help maintain safety at city and county functions and safety at polling places and ballot processing sites and election offices. Law enforcement are critical partners to the thousands of state and local officers who run our elections, and even those citizens who run our cities and states and counties. The elected city councils, the county councils, law enforcement officers are sworn to help protect and defend them as well. And yet our political statuary, our councils, don't want to uphold the law themselves. They declare themselves sanctuary counties. Interesting how they want to avoid the law. The vast majority of law enforcement officials understand that they must remain firmly apolitical in their work to protect public safety, and especially in their work to keep the public safe during any season, including elections. Law enforcement leaders across this country, I'm talking about sheriffs, I'm talking about police chiefs, lead by example in keeping politics out of their work, and to make clear to their personnel that they may also, I shouldn't say may, they must also do the same. There is a constitutional sheriff's movement out there, and its effort to mobilize local law enforcement and county sheriffs in particular to intervene when necessary to enforce the law and protect their cities and counties of jurisdiction. This view is espoused by adherents to the constitutional sheriffs to remove sheriffs who abuse their powers. Constitutional sheriffs assert that they have the power to determine the constitutionality of the laws that they are entrusted with enforcing. They determine the constitutionality of the laws they are trusted with enforcing. I saw a presentation on YouTube this morning where a police officer made a traffic stop. A man who used to be was a former law enforcement officer had some very graphic writing on the back window of his truck that would be offensive to anybody that saw it. And yet the California law said that that kind of writing on the back of vehicles was illegal because it was offensive. The law says it was illegal to have. That law enforcement officer made a traffic stop, not because that vehicle was operating illegally, not because there were lights out on that vehicle, or not because the person driving it was not authorized to be there, or not because he didn't have a driver's license. He did. But that law enforcement officer walked up to the vehicle in front of him and opened the door. That's illegal search and seizure. No law enforcement officer without cause can open the door of a vehicle. He must either wait for that door to open or ask someone else to open it, someone within the vehicle to open it. Then if that person refuses, and that officer has constitutional obligations, meaning he's seen contraband inside the vehicle, a gun or drugs, then he is authorized to use that force which is necessary, and no more, to gain entry into the vehicle and take the occupants out. But in this case, he illegally opened the door, which was a violation of the other man's Fourth Amendment rights. Then he proceeded to arrest the gentleman who was driving, to enforce a law that prohibited that type of writing that was on the back window of that vehicle. No, I'm not going to repeat what was on the outside of the vehicle. Well, it was offensive. Yes, the law permitted that. But when it came right down to it, even though the writing on the outside of the vehicle was offensive, and there was laws in that city in Los Angeles that prohibited that from happening, the law was also in violation of the First Amendment. That law was in violation of the First Amendment, freedom of speech. So ultimately, the man that was arrested and had his truck towed away, yes, his truck was towed away. The police officer was doing his job. He notified the supervisor of the law. He notified the supervisor what was going on about the writing on the back of the vehicle. So the supervisor okayed the arrest because it was a violation of law. okayed the arrest, and okayed even told the police officer on the scene to tow the vehicle, which he did. The owner driver of the vehicle turned around and sued the department and the state for violation of his rights. The law was wrong. The law was in violation of the First Amendment. So he sued the department and he sued the state and won. Now, yes, I'm in support of what the officer did. Even though the law was unconstitutional, he did what the law said. He enforced the law. Now, the man sued and won. What I'm telling you, law enforcement is to enforce the law, to defend and protect the citizens. Now, even though I might have been offended by the words that were on the outside of that vehicle, and there was a law against it, I would not have made the arrest. I would not even made the stop. I would not have been the supervisor who would have okayed the arrest and stop. Would not have done it. There is a fine line to violation of the law. Although only a small fraction of the nation's sheriffs are part of the constitutional sheriffs movement, the constitutional sheriffs have refused to enforce laws that are in direct opposition to the constitutional law. Constitutional sheriffs have refused to enforce laws which are in direct opposition to the Constitution of the United States. It started back in the early 2000s when Barack Obama threatened to bring federal law enforcement into the states to take guns away from law-abiding citizens. At the time, the sheriffs in the states across this country came together and said that they would stand up to protect the citizens in their states, in their county jurisdictions, and to protect them from illegal search and seizure by the federal government. To protect citizens in their county jurisdiction from out-of-control federal law enforcement, from coming into their counties to enforce what was then an unconstitutional law that Barack Obama wanted enforced. Obama later backed down, and federal law enforcement never did violate that part of the Constitution. There are a great many sheriffs throughout this country that signed a letter saying they would not let this happen. And I stand with that. During 2020, 2021, their law enforcement associates stood with them against COVID-19 related mask mandates that came into question along with Biden-era state and federal gun laws. And the constitutional sheriffs have affirmatively sought to frustrate federal land management and other federal land grabs. The Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, the CSPOA, Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. It's a political organization of local police officers and police officials in the United States who contend the federal and state government authorities are subordinate to the local authorities of county sheriffs and police. Self-described constitutional sheriffs assert that they are the supreme legal authority with the power and duty to defy or disregard laws that they regard unconstitutional. As a result, they sometimes have been referred to as sovereign sheriffs. Sovereign sheriffs. The association was founded in 2011 by former Sheriff Richard Mack, who was a board member of the Oath Keepers at the time. We have talked about the Oath Keepers in discussions here on this program before. Now, I think I accidentally, yes, I did, doggone it. I had a presentation here that I was going to show you. The president of Richard Mack, who's the president of the Constitutional Sheriff's Association, talking about what he and the association are doing to make sure the citizens of this country are protected. In 2017, the Constitution Sheriff's and Police Association said that they had 4,500 dues paying members, with more than 200 sheriffs among them. 200 sheriffs throughout the U.S. among them. In 2021, Richard Mack said 300 of the 3,000 sheriffs in the U.S. were members of the association. Now, we come back to the question of the day with the San Diego County Board of Supervisors. Sheriff Kelly Martinez. Let me show you a picture of her. This is a picture of Kelly Martinez. This is a picture of Richard Mack, Sheriff Richard Mack. Sheriff Martinez was elected sheriff in 2022 after having served the San Diego County as a deputy in rank position, meaning sergeant, lieutenant, or captain in the San Diego Sheriff's Office. In 2022, she was elected as the sheriff of the county. Initially, Sheriff Mack said that she would not follow in lockstep with the San Diego Board of Supervisors. Loyalty should be safety. Sheriff Martinez took an oath to protect public safety. Yet the County of San Diego Board of Supervisors has imposed its will on San Diego County citizens to be a sanctuary county in lockstep with Governor Newsom. Now I'm going to ask you this question. And you can even put your answers here in the chat. Is Sheriff Martinez going to go along with the San Diego County Board of Supervisors to not allow the federal law enforcement to take control of the illegal aliens in the jail population and remove them? She's not allowing it because the Board of Supervisors won't let her. This is going to make it costly to upkeep the jail because the illegal alien law-breaking population is high in the San Diego County jail system. The cost would go away if the federal government, if the Customs Border Protection officers were allowed to do their job in upholding and enforcing laws and protecting the citizens of the entire county of San Diego. What do you say? What do you say? Should cities and counties uphold the law? Should cities and counties be required to make sure that the illegal aliens and their populations be taken out of the cities and counties to help protect other citizens in those cities and counties? I say yes. I say yes. I believe the sheriffs and the police have a duty, a sworn duty, to uphold the law, number one. Number two, to protect the citizens that live within their jurisdictions. That's how I feel. I would only hope that you would go along with that. I hope you would want to help protect your own families and your neighbors and friends as well. Folks, I'm also going to ask again, if you enjoyed this presentation or if you enjoyed this channel, please give us a thumbs up. We'd greatly appreciate it. Please give us a thumbs up and also do this. Please stay here for the entire presentation. I should have said this at the beginning. If you're only here for the first 5 or 10 minutes, it's not going to do you any good. It's not going to do you any good at all, because we give you information that might help you protect your family, to give you information that might help save your family's lives. Yes, I'm about to talk about hurricanes. I'm about to talk about hurricanes. We got the word from the National Weather Service this morning that we could have a tropical storm hit central part of, or I should say east central part of the United States within the matter of a week. We already have conditions very likely to cause tropical storms and hurricanes over in the central Gulf. It's going to happen. Within the next 30, 60 days, we're going to have tropical storms and even hurricanes. We expect upwards of 13 hurricanes, 13 named storms, actually 19 named storms, and 13 hurricanes between now and November, which is the end of hurricane season. So please give us a thumbs up. Also, if you want to help support this channel, right at the bottom of this screen here that you see today, you see our PayPal addresses. We'd appreciate you support us here with our PayPal. Give us a donation, please, to help support this channel. Also, you see below that our addresses. Our email address is rltnspdema @gmail.com. You see our mailing address there, 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. You can slip a check or even cash into an envelope with a letter wrapped around it, or in the middle of a card. Send us a card. We'd love to get cards and letters from you. We love it. We love hearing from you. We want to know how you are also preparing for what's going to happen, for the emergencies and disasters that you're going to face. Please share with us that information. That way we can pass the information on to others. No, we will not reveal your names unless you want us to. We won't do that. But we want to get the preparedness information out there. So please do that. We'd appreciate your support very greatly to keep this program in the air. When I first started this program 6.5 years ago, I thought, oh, gee, I'm going to come on the air. It'll be fine. I soon realized within the first 6 or 7 months that it was costly to do a program like this. I didn't think it was. But bandwidth costs money. Bandwidth costs money to broadcast. I just got through paying earlier this week a $253 bill for bandwidth to broadcast this show. So we'd appreciate your support in keeping this program on the air. Yes, we have high electricity costs as well. That goes along with everybody else. But right now, I'm asking you for your support. You can give support either through super chats here on this channel, in the chat room. You can give us super chats, or you can give us donations to our PayPal, and or send us donations to our primary mail here. Thank you for that. Let's talk about hurricanes for a few minutes here. I want to talk about hurricane do's and don'ts. Yes, we are in fire season as well. Some of these do's and don'ts for hurricanes also apply to fires as well. Okay? Don't. First don't. During a huge tropical storm or a hurricane, don't go outside into the storm. Don't go outside during the storm. This should be a no-brainer, but unfortunately I've seen many people do this. Even during a Category 1 hurricane, which is the least of the hurricanes. A Category 1 hurricane can reach sustained winds of 74 miles per hour. A Category 5 storm can have winds over 156 miles per hour. Wind speeds like this can fool you. Wind speeds like this can turn even small debris into deadly missiles. I've seen two-by-fours out in the lawns or out in the fields, picked up by the winds and thrown into the side of a building, inside of a home, into the fence lines. Be very wary. These winds of these tropical storms and hurricanes can become very deadly. Don't be fooled also by the eye of the storm. There will be a period of calm as the storm passes over. There will be a period of calm before the hurricane force winds return, but the winds will return from an opposite direction. And then it will become even more deadly. Don't grill outdoors, but also don't grill indoors either. Don't use a grill during a hurricane. If your power goes out, don't be tempted to throw some steaks onto a grill indoors or outdoors. Charcoal or gas grills can release deadly levels of carbon monoxide poison. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Don't do it. Don't drink from non-bottled or untreated water. Floodwaters are often filled with bacteria and other contaminants, including sewage. Don't drink the tap water. Don't drink any water exposed to floodwater, including bottled water. If you have any ideas or any thoughts about this, go to the FDA website, the Food and Drug Administration website. They have tips on how to make your tap water safe to drink. Don't drink alcohol. These storms are very deadly. If you're drinking alcohol, you're not going to be any presence of mind to protect yourself or others. Don't drink alcohol during a hurricane. You never know when you will need to evacuate at a moment's notice or deal with life-threatening emergencies. You're going to want to have all your wits about you while the hurricane is raging. Lives could depend on you doing what you need to do. Lives can depend on you, even your own life. That's why some jurisdictions will ban sales of alcohol prior to a hurricane. Know that. To do. We have a to-do list. Do stock up on lots of water. The Center for Disease Control recommends at least 5 gallons of water per person per day. 5 gallons of water per person per day. You may also want to buy iodine tablets to clean drinking water. Make sure you eat more than just chips and salsa. Make sure you eat more than just chips and salsa. Yes, I understand some of you may want to have hurricane parties. That's not the place. Don't drink alcohol and don't eat just chips and salsa. Or bread for that matter. You're going to want to have lots of non-perishables with nutritional value, especially canned foods, with a minimum of 3 to 5 daily supply per person. A minimum 3 to 5 day supply of food per person. That's recommended. Prepare your house properly. Prepare your house properly. Clear your yard of furniture or anything else that could blow away. Cover your windows and doors with storm shutters or plywood, and stay away from windows and doors during the storm. Make sure your carbon dioxide detector has enough batteries and has enough battery life to protect yourselves from carbon dioxide poisoning. Be responsible and prepare for the worst. Make sure you have emergency and evacuation plans in place before the storm hits. Communicate these plans to everyone in your house, everyone in your business. Find out where the nearest storm shelter is. Find out where the nearest storm shelter is. Keep track of the storm. Keep track of the storm. Have an emergency AM, FM weather radio with you. I have one here. I've shown to you many times. Have an AM, FM weather radio with you. If you have power, you might turn on your television to a news talk station. You might be able to turn on your television to news station. that will report vital hurricane do's and don'ts and hurricane level information to you that might save your life. Have plenty of flashlights and extra batteries as well. Build your own or buy an emergency first aid kit. Build your own or buy an emergency first aid kit. You're going to want to have that. You're going to want to have that. Do we have any questions or comments? Do we have any questions or comments about this? Every year I put this out, every year I see things that people do that are so very wrong, to put themselves and their families and their homes in danger. Please be safe out there, guys. Please be safe out there. Any questions? Now, guys, this is one of the times I'm not going to have a devotion tonight. I probably will be back on air tomorrow, sometime during the day, to give you information about the fire in Ventura County, California, and any other weather updates or any other emergency earthquake updates as well. Please, guys, please be ready for anything that can happen. We've been talking about emergencies and disasters for years now. We talk about that because we want you to be aware of everything going on around you. Number two, we talk about preparedness. We want you to be prepared to save yourselves and your family's lives. That is ultimately our responsibility. I care about each one of you. I care about each one of you, and I say this every day. If I didn't care, I wouldn't do this. This has become a very essential part of my life because I want to be an essential part of your life and your family. We're here to protect you. We're here to protect you. Linda Goyle is saying, I've got my bug up bags ready. I hope you do. I hope everybody does. Don Patoga just gave you the information I was about to tell you. I'm going to repeat what Don says. Ron is up and running this program Monday through Friday after 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We are here at night or on Saturdays if an emergency happens. If an emergency happens, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Nights and on Saturdays and even Sundays if necessary. On Sundays, we come on the air about 12:30 noon on Sunday afternoon. We come on the air about noon on Sunday with a Sunday school program we call Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. It's a weekly Sunday school program we've been doing about 5.5, 6 years now because we were asked to do Sunday school online because many people during COVID couldn't get out. And we've just been doing it on and on because everybody's relied on this Sunday school program. We're going to continue to do it for as long as we possibly can. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe he is our Lord and Savior. He's our King. He is our Redeemer. He's our light and life of the world. I love Jesus Christ. I love our Heavenly Father. I teach the gospel of Jesus Christ. I teach the gospel of Jesus Christ because Jesus Christ wants us to be ready. Jesus Christ wants us to be ready. I ask God to protect you now. I ask God to be with you, each and every member of your family as well. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Thanks, Don. Thanks, all mods. Thank you all for being here. God bless. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody.